Hello, I'm John Joseph, and we have about three questions and answers I'm going to answer for you today concerning alcoholism. I get these questions from a few forums that I'm on. Yahoo Answers, I'll go on, or I also have people, they'll email me, ask me questions, and there's a lot of questions that I come up with myself, but they're important, and these questions are going to help you understand how to help yourself or help a loved one in your family get clean and sober. First question we have is, why are some people able to drink and it doesn't affect them, and other people drink and they become addicted? Well, the reason for that is they have the addictive tendencies. They are an addict. They have a unquiet mind. They have the factors that are necessary to become an addict. It could be psychological mixed with environmental problems, environmental pressures. 1 in 3 is an addict. In the United States, 20% of the people smoke. 10% of the people have an alcohol problem. So you figure if there's gamblers, figure if there's food addicts, and when you see a woman that's 300-400 pounds, chances are she doesn't smoke or drink. So her addiction, and she's an addict, she has the unquiet mind, her addiction is manifesting itself through the intake of food, rewarding the pleasure centers in the brain, the same pleasure centers that get rewarded when you use drugs or alcohol. So some people can drink because they don't have all the variants to be an addict, and other people do have the variants to be an addict. 1 in 3 is an addict. 1 in 5 has a psychological disorder. And the average person diagnosed with a psychological disorder actually has at least 2.5 disorders, not just one. And you can have a half a disorder. You can have 30% of a disorder. They call that a spectrum. So you have a spectrum disorder of any particular psychological disorder. So yeah, addiction's it's something that's preconceived. It's there. You are one, and I'll talk about this later, but it's noticeable in childhood, and I won't get into that right now. That'll be for another taping. But yeah, it's because they're an addict. You have the addictive tendencies. Once you have the addictive tendencies, you've always got them. You'll have to manage yourself for the rest of your life. Here's the other second question. Is alcoholism a disease? Of course, alcoholism is a disease. It has 3 different stages. The third stage, at the end of the third stage, of course, is death, but it does have 3 stages. And alcoholism, if you stop drinking, let's say you're in the middle of the second stage of alcoholism. If you stop drinking, you arrest the disease completely. Let's say 20 years later you start drinking again, you go right back to where you left off. You go right back to you're at 2.5 at in the middle between second and third stage. You could be in third stage, quit for 35 years, and once you start drinking again, you're back into the third stage, because the way that it affects your body has advanced, and it will always be like that. Get into third stage of alcoholism. I mean, on average, it'll take 20 to 30 years to get there, but some people get there in 10, some people get there in 5. I've heard one instance where a guy got there in 3 years and died at age 21. So it's all different. It's all different for everybody. Everybody's physiology is different, but it is a disease. No question about it. And it's also it's a mind disease. regardless of the stages that it takes on first, second, and third stage. Um, it, it manifests itself. It starts in the brain. It starts in the brain with with addictive tendency or an unbalanced mind, which is usually if some form of psychological disorder, accompanied with environmental factors. It's not always accompanied by environmental factors. You hear about rich people dying all the time. So yes, it is a disease. Next question we have is this was an unusual question, and I thought I'd address it. A guy says, I'm trying to get sober, and my 60-year-old dad, who has never touched alcohol, just started drinking heavily all of a sudden. Did he catch alcoholism from me? Well, if your father went up into 60 years old and he's never had a alcohol problem, I mean, he could have had other addiction problems. They didn't address this. If the father's a smoker, or so, chances are he probably, I'll say probably, had addictive tendencies, because I don't know all the details about the guy's father. And did he catch it from the son? Well, if the son is trying to quit, chances are he might be bringing mayhem upon the dad, which is a heavy environmental factor. And we don't know how their finances are or anything. The guy in the question didn't pose that out. But yeah, he could be putting pressures on the father. I mean, did he influence the father to drink? Yeah, maybe the father thought, let me pick up a drink because my son's drinking. That's possible, but chances are the son has put a lot of environmental pressures on his father. And again, without knowing anything else about the father or the son or their background and history, because there could be a lot of other things behind it. He at least brought environmental factors, caused a lot of pressures on his father. His father can't seem to handle it. Maybe he can't tame his son, and it's weighing on him heavily at this point. So this is why it's important, if you want to know why you're drinking or why a loved one is drinking, you need to know everything about their background. You need to know everything about any other addictions they had, influences in the family, genetic factors, environmental factors. So, to answer a quick question, did my father start drinking because I'm a heavy drinker and I can't quit, and and he caught it from me? Well, it's you got to get into all the deep details to be able to see exactly why the issue has come to the forefront. So I'll be having more for you, and if you want to email me, feel free to email me. I'll do my best to get back to you. And a few emails, you'll be surprised I can help you out there.